let's talk about another Dark Horse Indiana Jones comic, in this case Indiana Jones and the Iron Phoenix, published from 1994 to 1995, written by Lee Mars, who previously did another Indiana Jones comic that I didn't like that much, which was Indiana Jones and the Arms of Gold. Arms of Gold to me was pretty mediocre at best. Like, it wasn't horrible or difficult to read, it was just kind of like a meh Indiana Jones adventure. But the Iron Phoenix surprised me because this is now one of my favorite ones out of the Dark Horse comics. I really enjoyed it. So, little behind the scenes fact, Indiana Jones and the Iron Phoenix was supposed to be a video game originally, and a sequel to the video game Fate of Atlantis. Now, Fate of Atlantis also got a comic adaptation, which I have talked about, and Iron Phoenix never got made as a game, so instead they turned it into a comic. Another interesting fact is, this is the furthest we have gotten in the timeline, at least with the comics, because this takes place in 1947. We are post-World War II at this point. And reminder, the original trilogy with Last Crusade ended just before World War II broke out, so this is pretty amazing. It doesn't factor too much into the plot or anything, because Indy is still a young-ish man, like he's still in top form and everything. I guess it does factor in with the bad guys, because the bad guys are remnants of the Nazis. Basically, Indy is going on an adventure searching for the Philosopher's Stone, which, straight up kind of contradiction, because he was also looking for the Philosopher's Stone, which can turn things into gold, in the novel Indiana Jones and the Philosopher's Stone by Max McCoy, which I really loved. But there can be retcons to fix it, because the Philosopher's Stone in this story, it's not one stone, it's like 3 separate stones that can be connected into one. And they have like a different ability, because they don't, well, not only turn things into gold, they can resurrect dead people. And that's more the main plot. So there's already more than one stone. You can, expand here and retcon and connect. It's fine. So the main thing is, Indy is looking for those Philosopher's Stones. He has to go to different places, find the different stones, fight different groups there. His main antagonist here is a German and his other German henchmen. They are Nazis, and they want to bring back the Third Reich. And the main Nazi, we don't see him until the end, and he looks like an actual zombie, but I don't think he is one. He's just extremely scarred. And his name is Dunkelvolk, which means like dark people, which that's so on the nose, I kind of love it. During all of this, Indy also constantly runs into the Soviets, which is fun, because the main, I'm gonna say love interest, not really, but she's like kind of becomes a sidekick. She's like a Soviet lady, she's like the leader of that group, and she constantly runs into Indy, but she lets him live. She doesn't want to like needlessly kill him or anything. I like that. Her character feels nuanced. She's not like head over heels in love with him or anything. She's just like, okay, you're archaeologist guy, you constantly like annoy me, but it's no reason to kill you. I'm gonna let you live, and maybe you are even useful. I like that. I thought it was something different. Because the Soviets aren't really the villains here. Because the bad guy, Nazi Dunkelvolk, his plan is using the Philosopher's Stones to resurrect like an army of dead Nazis. We get actual zombie Nazis at the end of this comic, and it is glorious. I can definitely see this working as a game, and god damn it, it's fun. It's really, really fun. It's 4 issues, perfect size, good pacing. Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's also interesting that this is like the furthest in the timeline we've gotten, in the comics at least, 1947. And then the other story that takes place, so far in the future is Steve Perry's novel, Indiana Jones and the Army of the Dead, which also deals with zombies. That's just a funny coincidence, but yeah, I like it. So would I recommend Indiana Jones and the Iron Phoenix? Absolutely. This actually feels like a big event. I'm okay with the Nazis being the villains here because there's something fun done with it. This takes place so long after the trilogy. We see Indy post-World War II, but he's still young enough. He's fighting the remnants of the Nazis. We get Nazi zombies. That's great. This feels more like an indie movie, like an epic one, than Fate of Atlantis. I would highly recommend Indiana Jones and the Iron Phoenix, and I hope the rest of the comics are just as good as this one. Probably not, but hey, I can hope.